Hey, what is going on, heroes? Today is day number 32, and we're going to be talking about asking the right questions about your client and their ideal customers. So the first thing what we're going to do is we're going to use rapport building questions. If we walk into the office for the first meeting and we see that they have a photo of them skiing in Aspen and it looks like they love skiing and you love skiing, that's definitely something to talk about. Build some sort of friendship or relationship there. That way, as you segue into business, it feels a little bit more natural. After that, we'll ask basic business overview questions. How long have you been in business? Why are you so passionate about this business? Try to figure out what is their deepest desire. Is their deepest desire to, better the community, or, they're just running this business so that they can go spend time in Thailand with their family, whatever it may be. We want to just kind of dig into that stuff. After that, we'll ask basic marketing efforts questions. So this would be something like, what is the biggest challenge that you're facing right now with your marketing? Or, are you currently running any ads on Facebook, Google, or any one of these other sites? Are you doing social media? Do you have anybody handling your website? Are you doing SEO? Understanding these questions will really start to dial us into understanding their marketing. After that, we will want to ask questions about understanding their ideal client. Things like, and I'll give you an example here. We actually just picked up a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, and we found that about 70% of his client base was kids. And so, targeting parents is the ideal situation. Why? Because they have money, they want to do what's best for their kids, and that is already his ideal customer. So by understanding that, it's going to help us out big time. Another example is I have a client that does window tinting. And window tinting is definitely not it's definitely more of a luxury service. So, people that are making typically over $100,000 a year, maybe even over $150,000 a year, have a home, maybe have a family. Things like this are going to help us really nail down, the targeting when we start running ads or anything like that. And it will really, if we make a marketing video, if, we write a press release, we'll really understand who it is that we're trying to target and who it is that we're trying to, speak to. An example is running a press release using the right keywords in the headline. And we want to structure those keywords based on what their customer would be searching in Google. After that, we want to talk about, if I start to send leads to your business, who is in charge of taking these leads on the phone, converting them, and getting them to come in the door? By understanding that, it's going to make sure that we have a really good, system in place, so I can start sending leads to them, and they have, a really, really good effort at, taking that lead and making it into a sale. Now, for some businesses, not everybody's a great salesman. We want to try to encourage them to appoint the most salesy or the highest converter or the highest closer, on the phone. That way they can make the most of the money that we're spending, or the money that they're spending on us. So, and we can even coach them a little bit. So if, their closer is, doing pretty good but need a little bit of help, we can definitely help them out with that. So, and then finally, after we reach out to this client, we kind of understand their needs, we understand their business, we understand the desire of what they're trying to accomplish, we understand what their biggest challenges are currently. Something that I like to do is I like to ask, my friends and family in the community, if they've used a similar product or service. So that way I can understand, why they use that service or product, and I can just kind of get a better understanding of the psychology of their customer. Something else that I typically do, after I onboard my client, I actually land them as a client, is I typically ask them to write down all of the questions that they typically get from a client. That way it just makes the copy that I write way easier. Another thing I'll do is I will ask them and try to figure out how are they different from all of the other, competition in the area. So an example of that is I have a landscaper who does all organic fertilizing, but that's not very common. There's like one other person in this area that does that, and he's got some pretty awesome science that backs up why that's so important. So, by understanding those things, it's going to make closing our client way easier. It's going to make getting the client customers way easier. And it's just going to make us a better marketer and make our job easier in the long run. Now, the one thing I do want to tell you, I've said this over and over, while you're asking these questions, right? We want to ask questions that are open-ended so they can talk. We want to follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, we want them just telling us everything about their business. And then when we go to close them, we're just going to pick apart the pieces of those answers they gave us, so that way we can construct the perfect pitch. We will know their deepest desire, we will know their biggest problem, we will know how to target their ideal customer, and then when we go to pitch them, it's going to go so much more smooth. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video and talk to you later.